The economist Linda Grattan from the London Business School and psychologist Andrew Scott co-authored a book titled 100 Years of Life. In the book, they predict that every 5 to 10 years our work will face a challenge. This means that with the changing times, we all have to face career transitions and skill upgrades. When I read this, I thought, are there any abilities that will not be eliminated? After careful consideration, there really are. The following 5 rare abilities are enough to make a person stand out in the next 10 years. 1. Aesthetic ability. Once, aesthete Jiang-sun and his friend went to Greece to see the Temple of Apollo, walking for several hours along the mountain road, and upon arrival, his friend was startled and said, "We've walked along this mountain road for so long, just to see these 6 columns? Moreover, 3 of them are broken." While others see ruins, Jiang-sun appreciates the design sense of the columns and feels the historical connotations behind them. Jiang-sun told his friend that if Armani is a brand and Chanel is a brand, then these columns are the brand of Greece for 2,000 years. Many national legislatures of various countries around the world follow the Greek column style. Every brand hides a unique beauty, which is also the point Jiang-sun has always emphasized. A person's level of aesthetic ability determines their level of competitiveness. If you can produce beauty and capture beauty, it will naturally be easy to stand out. Whether you are a home blogger, fashion blogger, designer, or editor, you must have taste and artisticity. Even some positions that seem unrelated to aesthetic ability actually require you to have a sense of beauty. For example, if you are a content creator, you need to write stories with rhythm and charm. For example, if you are a programmer, how to type code with beauty also involves aesthetic ability. I agree with a designer who mentioned such a point. The era bonus of aesthetics has arrived. People have passed the stage of satiety for the sake of satiety and entered the new era of spiritual consumption. Pursuing beauty is everyone's nature, and admiring beauty is also the trend of social development. A person with aesthetic ability will definitely be very popular in the future. 2. The ability to tell stories. I have always had a question before. Why is the Bible the book with the longest history, the widest range, and the most translations in the world? A viewpoint that Ren Jingfei mentioned later, I think, is very correct. Why is the Bible so popular? It's because of the stories which both children and the elderly can understand. To put it simply, the Bible is good at telling stories. Everyone loves to listen to stories, and good stories have power. Not only directors and novelists need to be proficient in storytelling, but every one of us needs to be able to tell stories. Storytelling is a kind of scenario thinking. Whether we are doing branding, attracting investment, looking for a job, selling products, seeking promotion, or even finding a partner, the ability to tell stories is very crucial. Yu Minhong once said that he got a lot of inspiration from Liu Bei. In fact, they have a common point. Liu Bei once told a story of restoring the Han Dynasty. In a state of having nothing, he attracted a group of outstanding people to follow him, and eventually achieved the ambition of becoming an emperor. Yu Minhong, at the beginning, told the story of how New Oriental could develop, painted a beautiful prospect for everyone, and brought Wang Chong, Su Xiaoping and others to work together. Through one story after another, he made everyone full of confidence and moved forward with a unified goal. The most sophisticated behavior in this world is to infect people with stories, not to persuade them with reasons. A person's level of aesthetic ability determines their level of competitiveness. The stronger the ability to tell stories, the more opportunities you will get. There is an interesting saying. This world does not have any truth, only stories. It may be a bit exaggerated, but it has to be admitted that stories have warmth, making people more emotional and more easily convinced. A person who knows how to tell stories is often more charming. 3. The ability to play. We tend to interpret the word play in a pejorative way. Being obsessed with some small hobbies can easily be said to be restless and not serious about one's career. Delving into some small gadgets can be said to be wasting one's ambition. In the end, we ignore the world outside and strive to move forward in the reading race, becoming people who can only read and can't do anything else. In fact, play is exactly an expression of human nature and creativity, and it will inevitably become an important competitive advantage, and many formidable people have the trait of knowing how to play. Aching is a person who knows how to play. He is not only a master of words but also a good cook, a good carpenter, able to make a complete set of wedding furniture, and able to repair extremely difficult Ming-style furniture. When he settled in the United States, he also played with cars and earned a considerable income. He found a car from an auto graveyard, modified it himself, and antique cars with good appearance could be sold for a high price. Zhao Yuanzhen is also a person who knows how to play. He has a well-known song, Call Me Not to Think of Her, which was also created through play. Once, Zhao Yuanzhen went to the West Lake for a trip and entered a wooden fish shop on the lakeside. Zhao Yuanzhen's childlike heart was stirred, and he played with the wooden fish in the shop. He selected 10 or so wooden fish with different tones and lined them up, using both hands to knock on the wooden fish, creating a melody. This melody became a famous song. The love of play is the source of human creativity, and with the current internet era, everyone can express themselves, and people who know how to play are more likely to stand out. People who like playing games can make money by making strategies or attracting traffic in live broadcasts. People who like traveling can become travel bloggers, go to places they want to go, and eat the food they want to eat. While traveling, they can also make videos and accept advertisements. You see, playing is never a bad thing. Learning to play is learning to be self-reliant. Playing well can find a path of one's own in this era. For the ability to provide emotional value. The first batch of concept artists have been laid off due to AI, and a large enterprise plans to lay off 20% of its staff due to the introduction of AI. In the past 2 or 3 years, the sense of crisis brought by artificial intelligence has been weighing on everyone's minds. However, as Li Keifu said, although AI is powerful, it still has insurmountable shortcomings and weaknesses, such as its empathy. More broadly speaking, in terms of emotional expression and insight, AI still has areas where it cannot replace humans. No matter how intelligent the machine is, it is still cold, and no matter how powerful the algorithm is, it cannot calculate the inner emotions. The warmth between people is something that Senior media person Li Xiang gave an example. There are 3 million truck drivers in the United States, most of whom are men. With the development of driverless technology, these people will lose their jobs and have to go home to take care of household chores. However, it is not the case for women. There are 3 million secretaries and administrative assistants in the United States, most of whom are women. They coordinate and communicate, which robots cannot replace. For other jobs, such as traders and loaders, which men are good at, they will be replaced by machines. But for positions such as babysitters and nurses, which women are responsible for, a lot of emotional communication is required, and these jobs cannot be handled by machines. The love of play is the source of human creativity. Similarly, AI will replace some doctors, but it cannot replace empathetic medical staff. The core of doctor-patient interaction is people, and patients would rather have a gentle medical staff to provide spiritual support. AI will replace some waiters, but it cannot replace warm and sincere waiters. When we have family dinners or go on dates with our favorite people, we would rather see the smiles and thoughtful service of the waiters. Emotional communication and expression are the most critical skills in the future. When you learn how to provide emotional value to others, you have the capital that cannot be replaced by AI. 5. The ability to communicate. An Ivy League University Alliance in the United States once conducted a survey in which they issued a questionnaire to the elite of Wall Street business and Washington politicians, asking what courses they would take if they went back to university. The answers were diverse. There were writing, negotiation, oratory, and philosophy, but if you look for the intersection of these course contents, you will find that most of them are related to one-word communication. Therefore, the more outstanding a person is, the more they pay attention to the use of the power of communication. Many people have watched the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, where the male protagonist Chris goes from a destitute salesman to an outstanding stockbroker. If you think carefully about Chris's struggle, you will find that in addition to hard work, another important reason for his success is that he is very good at using communication to seize opportunities. One day, Chris passed by a securities firm and saw a man in a neat suit, and Chris was very envious and curious about him. He boldly approached him and asked about his occupation. "What do you do? How do you do it?" The man pointed to the securities firm in front and said, "I am a stockbroker." They started chatting, and because of this communication, he learned about the stockbroker profession and quickly changed industries, doing everything possible to enter the door of the securities company. On the day of the interview, he appeared in front of the interviewer in a disheveled manner for various reasons. If someone else were in this situation, they might have given up in their hearts. However, Chris confessed to the interviewer that he was not unprepared, but he was detained for not paying the parking fine. At this time, the interviewer asked, If someone comes for an interview without wearing formal attire and I hire him, how would you evaluate? Chris smiled and replied, then his pants must be very good. With a simple sentence, it was clever, witty, and deeply touching. Because of this communication, Chris entered the securities industry he had always dreamed of. Oil magnate Rockefeller said, if communication is a product, I would pay a higher price for this ability than for any other. In life, a mouth that can speak is a ladder that can help you climb to success. Learning to communicate is a skill that we need to cultivate throughout our lives. Lu Ying, the son of Lu Yong, is a column writer of prose, and his daughter Lu Yifan won the Presidential Award in the United States and was admitted to the world's top Wharton Business School. When asked about the secret of education, Lu Ying replied, cultivate basic abilities, and excellence becomes natural. What are basic abilities? They are actually the abilities that are always important regardless of how the times change.